Hey, what's going on, guys? I am about to sit down with Jordan Heckman, the creator of County Road Z, and we'll have a quick chat about his game, how he went through creating the game, and maybe what he's got planned. So here it is. Hey guys, I am hanging out with the creator of County Road Z, Jordan Heckman.
Hello.
Jordan, I'd like to know how tell us a little bit about yourself and how you got into wargaming as a hobby.
Ooh. Well, I guess. Um. Well, I live right now. I live in the middle of nowhere in Wisconsin. Where we. It's important to note our county roads are named with letters, not numbers.
Yeah,
And so, County Road Z is an actual place near where I live.
that
And for
was that.
whatever reason, I feel that's important to know. Anyway,
Yeah.
yeah, I got into wargaming, actual wargaming in the '90s with Heavy Gear. Right when I was a freshman in college.
Okay.
Uh, Little known Canadian game about not so giant robots. Uh, of course, no one on the planet plays that game, or even then played that game. So I was really into it, but nobody else played. But then, of course, I migrated to Warhammer 40k like everybody else does eventually.
Yeah. Yeah,
Uh,
it's
yeah,
that's somewhere on everyone's wargaming journey. I think whether it's the start, the middle, or the end. I suppose.
right,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's the middle, and then a little again later in the middle. 2 editions later, 4 editions
Yep.
later. People
Yep.
come and go.
Yeah.
Uh,
Definitely a recurring theme. Yep.
yeah, yeah, for sure. Um, but yeah, no, that was 40k was the first one I played in an organized manner, like at tournaments and stuff. And I found out I'm not good at it. Like I wasn't good at competitive wargaming, and
Yeah.
that's how I migrated over to co-op and solo. Like
Yep.
found my
Yep.
way to. I find if I'm bad at it, if it's a co-op game, then I can still win. Like we win.
Yeah.
That's fine
Yeah.
with me. I'm cool with that.
Yep. Yep, I relate to that as well. We've me and Fox, who's the other host of the show. We've been playing a little bit of 5 parsecs from home as a co-op campaign, and I think our last mission just gone. My crew got wiped, so he had to carry us. So
Yeah. No, I've played a bit of 5 parsecs. Um, it seems like it would work really well for 2 crews co-op.
yep,
But like I was looking at it, and if you tried to play both members of the same crew, I don't think it would be as fun because you don't get your
nah,
whole in between turns thing for your own guys.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, definitely. Definitely. So now that was actually one of the questions I was going to ask you about the name of County Road Z. So you've already answered that one off the bat.
Yeah.
Um,
No, it's actually funny. I was working on the road. I did fire systems maintenance for a while. So I'd
oh,
drive to
nice.
places and look at their fire systems and whatever. But
Yep.
every day I drove past on my way to the main building, I drove past County Road Z and I thought, man, that would be a cool name for some zombie fiction.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
about 8 years later, I managed it.
Nice. Nice. So it was the name that came first. I take from that then.
Yeah, well, always a
Yeah.
big fan of zombie fiction. And then the name
Oh yeah.
just, like, I drove past it every day. I'm like, that
Yeah.
should be a zombie movie. So,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
Definitely. No, that's awesome. That is really awesome. So how long has it taken you to get County Road Z to where it is today?
Wow. Honestly, once I found a mechanic that I liked, it went really fast. Like I've been kicking around, like I've been making games for 20 years, but never
Yep.
anything that I brought to anybody but my gaming buddies. It's like, hey, let's see how this works or whatever. And
Yeah.
usually I'd pilfer stuff from Savage Worlds or this game or that game. But when I sat down one day and I thought, what if there were zombies that were passive? Like, what if they're asleep first and you
Yep.
could sneak around?
Yeah.
And that mechanic kicked me off on my way to County Road Z. And then, like, I would say it was maybe 4 months from that mechanic in my head to having a playable prototype.
Wow. Yeah.
Uh, but it helps that it came at a time when I had been laid off, pandemic style, not working anymore.
Yeah.
So I had some time on my hands. So I just sat down and just cranked that sucker out. And the first playable prototype, not recognizable if you've been looking at the book that came out. So
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
I've been thumbing through that book for the last it's been maybe 2 weeks, I think, since you sent it to us, and it's phenomenal. I couldn't imagine how many additions and variations it's been to get it to where it is now. But to come from that system and have it together so quickly, is really impressive. And it's such a brilliant mechanic having the passive zombies and having that element of stealth in a tabletop war game like that. Yeah,
It's something that I'd never really seen before.
No.
And I was like, man, I want that stress of having to sneak past and then maybe
Yeah.
not making it. You know what I mean? And then suddenly the wheels come off the wagon and you got to run for the board. It's like, who knows?
Yep.
I like that.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Another aspect of it was the horde mechanic that you created as well, where once they cluster together, they operate into as a group and become that much more threatening. Again, brilliant, and it creates that what we see in pop culture of zombie hordes to be something that you can't deal with. One or two, sure, but when they're clustered together, you're in trouble.
Yeah, well, and in movies and stuff, they always are just around the corner. They're never in line of sight, which makes sense because if they were in line of sight, you'd have killed them one at a time before they hoarded up.
Yeah.
And so you come around, and there they are around the corner. There's 5, 6. Well, in my game, there's 5, 6 of them. In a movie, there's 100, but
yeah. That'd be hard
to paint that many minis.
Yeah. I'm sure there are people out there. One of our Discord users just painted 70 zombies to use in one of his armies, but
wow,
that's just nuts. Yeah.
No, I burned through about 24 zombies in a short period of time to take my game to a con. And I was like, man, I am so done painting putrid flesh.
Yeah,
I've painted enough of that.
Yeah, I went for a real easy method on mine. I just mixed a green with a flesh tone, and then just painted them with a wash, and it's fine to me. It's gonna be fine.
You can tell. All of my zombies, their clothes are one of 4 colors because those are the 4 contrast paints that I bought.
Yeah.
So those are the ones I just was like, wow, nope, this one's wearing red pants.
Yeah.
Maybe he was jogging. I don't know.
In his Adidas tracksuit. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
I love it. Is there any particular part of the game that you created first and then worked the rest of it to be around that kind of mechanic?
Well, yeah, actually, once I had the idea that there's such a thing as a passive zombie, I thought to myself, so how hard is it to kill a zombie? And I thought, Daryl Dixon, with a crossbow, can kill a zombie that doesn't know he's there, unless he rolls a 1.
Yeah.
So then I was like, okay, so if Daryl is a tier 4, so he's got a 4 dex, he's got a crossbow that is +0, so that's the 4. That's my 4 defense of a passive zombie.
Yep.
And that was just the baseline that I started at.
Nice.
And for whatever reason, it worked out. It was a lot of luck, just picking the numbers, and the balance turned out to be okay. It was there was not as much math as there should have been.
Yeah, that's fine. Things that come together naturally like this, it should be easy. You shouldn't have to, force it to work. The fact that it just comes together it's perfect. It's great.
Yeah.
I love how you've chosen Daryl Dixon there too. He's probably my favorite character from The Walking Dead.
Well, and definitely the most competent. It's like if there's somebody you're going to take as a baseline of who's good at this. Oh, he's good at this.
Yeah. Nice. I'm yet to play a game. I'm just finishing up painting my survivors now. I'll have 3 of them to start with. What do you think? What's a tip that you can give me for my first game? How do I not die?
Okay. The one problem with this game is that every skill is important. I mean,
Okay.
obviously, the combat skills are everybody should have one at
Yep.
least,
Yep.
probably just one, uh, but then like the dexterity, other skills, stealth, and enter. Like enter is handy and stealth is handy, but they're
Hmm.
less necessary necessarily. And then
Situational
strength is kind of
almost.
the situational. And
Yep.
then strength is kind of the same way where you've got carry and break.
Yep.
At least that was the plan, but carry turned out to be way more useful
Okay.
than most of the other skills. So if you want to keep everybody fed, scavenge and carry are the dynamic duo. If you can
Okay.
get somebody with a intelligence high score and somebody with a strength high score, and they hang out together
Yep.
and they go
Yep.
around, and then that is, I think, if you're looking for efficiency, that's the only way to keep everybody fed until
Okay.
you got a good garden built or whatever.
Yeah.
But my personal favorite is all of the intelligence skills. They're my
Yep.
favorite part of the game. Uh, because I wanted them to be important because it's so often a dump stat in a combat game.
Yep.
So I
Yep.
definitely suggest scout and traps and tactics. Like they're just fun. They're fun to
Yep.
play with. So also tactics dice, man, those things save lives.
Okay.
Any game with a
Okay.
reroll mechanic, you got to
Oh
lean
yeah.
into that sucker. Lean
Yep.
into it because that one is
Yep.
heartbreaking. Heartbreaking.
When you roll a one and you are re-rolling, do you roll the same dice, or do you grab a different dice and send that dice off into the naughty corner?
I play the whole game with 1d10, but then the tactics dice are separate dice I set aside so that
Yep.
when I roll one, I put it back in the box so I know how many I got
Yep.
left because otherwise I'll lose track. I
Okay.
lose
Yeah.
track of stuff,
Yeah.
and then I'm like, oh no, did I use them all up? I don't remember. So I have to make sure that they have their own dice. They have their own corner.
Yeah. Yeah. That's fair.
Yeah.
Nice. Um, what has been the most difficult part of bringing Canny Road Z together?
Honestly, 100% learning desktop publishing software.
Yeah.
Not
Yep.
something I knew how to use. Like I couldn't create a PDF to save my life
Yep.
before like 2 days before I decided like I had a set date. I was like, I'm going to release on March 1st. And so of
Yep.
course that was a Monday. So the Saturday before I'm like, oh, I suppose I should better figure out how to do this. Long weekend. But
Yeah.
yeah, no. So the formatting, obviously, like if you look at it and you've read a lot of books, game books, you look at it, it's like this is a pretty like a graphic designer did not touch the inside of this book. It was just me throwing stuff around, and like if it looked awful, my wife would be like, "That looks awful," and then I would have
Yeah.
to change it. That was
Yeah.
pretty much the whole process. So yeah, learning the desktop publishing software was the hardest part, but really, like from a game perspective, the hardest part was deciding when it was done.
Yes. Yeah.
Because I could
Yeah.
have put 100 more pages into this thing, but so I had to set myself a date because otherwise I could tinker. You could tinker with it all day. Little
Yeah.
balance changes here, little changes there, and then it's 100 years later and you still don't have anything.
Yeah. You still haven't got that
And
finished product. Yeah.
exactly. And I
Yeah.
wanted to play it, and I wanted to hold the book in my hand and have my name written on it.
Yeah.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like it's
Yeah.
still a
Absolutely.
little surreal to
Oh,
see my name written on it. But it was
yeah.
it was
Yeah.
good.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's such an awesome thing. And it's something like, yeah, a few people in each gaming group might tinker around with rules and make their own systems, but to have it published like you've done, whether that was, yourself on a Saturday, a mad Saturday, learning your way through Adobe Publisher or something, like it doesn't matter, you've still done it. You've brought this game from just seeing a sign as you drive past every day to something real that people can play all across the world. So, no, it's no mean feat. It's you've done well.
Yeah, well, I appreciate it. Let me tell you, it was a surprise the first time
Yeah.
somebody was like, "I love this." I was like, "Really?" Because I mean, I like it because
Yeah.
I specifically set out to make a game I wanted to play.
Yep.
But the fact that
Yep.
other people do still blows my mind. Still blows my mind. It's fantastic.
Yeah. Yep. Um,
Fantastic.
you said your wife would tell you if things needed changing. Has she played the game? Does she play tabletop games?
She has played. She likes the tabletop section of the game.
Yep.
The
Yep.
stealth and the gambling and the moving people around.
Yeah.
Not so much with base building.
Okay.
That's
Yeah.
not really her bag. Like she exists really well in a kind of Descent or Shadows of Brimstone dungeon crawler board game situation.
Yep.
Yeah, she plays those. She likes those. But this game, not really what she wanted. The whole thing, like half the book is base building, and she's like, I have no interest in that part. That's fine. You
Yeah.
don't have to.
Yeah. Yeah.
In all honesty, none of my friends are super into my game. Nobody I know in Meat Space
Ah.
plays. And like it's fine, I get it. If it's not your deal, it's not your deal. But like
Yeah.
it's weird that there's
Yep.
50 people on the Facebook group right now that
Yep.
are playing. I don't know any of them. Like I mean, I know
No.
them as well as I know you right now. Exactly. It's like
Oh
that's
yeah, that's
great.
right.
Yeah. Global
Yeah. Yeah.
community.
Yeah, that's it. I suppose it is a different thing. The bookkeeping side of games. Same thing with Parsecs and
Hmm.
other games like that. Like the off the table stuff, I quite enjoy almost as much as on the table. Um, rolling on tables to see what you get or what happens. Or like I said, I'm yet to play County Road Z, but the base building side and the community building side was so appealing to me, that concept, because it's something that happens in every zombie flick, even zombie games on like computer games, but doesn't happen on a tabletop game. You don't build a base or a garden like you said earlier and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
yeah.
No, I think the branch into solo gaming has really opened up that side,
Yep.
which I am here for. Like I am glad that it started being a thing because in competitive
Yeah.
gaming, it's hard to wedge that in there.
Yep.
So I'm glad that it has become a thing. It is definitely cool.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I've had my eyes opened up to solo games over the last the space of COVID, I suppose. Before then, I'd really only ever played 40k, maybe a bit of Star Wars Legion, but they're such a fantastic part of this hobby where you can people might go like, oh well, why are you playing a game by yourself? Well, it's like, well, do you play video games by yourself? Yeah, you do. you know
Yeah.
so what's the difference? Like, this is the same thing on the table. So I'm so glad to have been introduced to solo games. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I actually I got lucky just pre-pandemic. Me and my buddy started playing Frostgrave,
Ah, yes.
the
Yep.
Joe McCullough game, and
Yep.
it has an expansion. I think it's called Perilous Dark. Don't
Okay.
quote me on that one.
Yeah.
That is a solo / co-op expansion for the
Nice.
competitive game Frostgrave, and I was
Yep.
like, boom! Like I just wow,
Yeah.
I could play alone
Yeah.
because oh. And then
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
then from there, of course, I found Rangers of Shadow Deep, which is his solo game, and then
Yep.
5 Parsecs, which is a great deal of fun. Lots of
Yep.
randomness. You got to really story tell
Oh
your way
yeah.
around some of that.
Yep.
But it's good stuff. It's good stuff. I'm glad.
Yeah. Yep. Yep. If what would you say to yourself, back when you started creating County Road Z, or to someone who wants to make a game of their own? Have you got any tips?
The one piece of advice that I received that was absolutely key is make sure you have a playable game that you want to play before you start taking anyone's advice.
Okay. Yep.
Because otherwise, if you start asking what people like in a game or what they want, then suddenly you're making a game that all these other people might want to play, but you don't want to play, and then it's work. And if your job is making games, that's great. Do that work. But if it's, a side hustle, like the kids say,
Yeah.
you don't want to do it for other people. You want to make a game that you are going to enjoy making and playing.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's just a slog. And I think that's probably where I went wrong with any of the other games I made over the last some number of years.
Yeah, yeah.
Is yeah, if you take too much advice, then it's not your game anymore, you know?
Yeah, I like that. So get it to a point where you're happy, and then start introducing it to other people.
Right. And then
Yeah,
their advice is, tweaks and little changes so that the game is still the game that you recognize, You
yeah,
don't go in a
yeah,
wrong direction.
yeah, yeah. Brilliant, brilliant. Love that. Has there been any times in creating Canny Road that you wanted to throw in the towel? Like, was there anything that you just couldn't, maybe, you were having issues with figuring out one mechanic, or times where you nearly had enough?
Honestly, all of my playtesters who I found on the internet and were from all over, like the whole planet, said
Yep.
that it was too easy, that the
Okay.
tabletop portion was too easy. And I
Yep.
thought, maybe I'm still bad at war games. I've always, not been great at war games. I play a ton of them. I should be
Yeah.
getting good at them. Whatever, it's fine. Like I have fun. I don't really care to win that much.
Yeah.
But as I kept going, I thought, no, no, I think they're getting something wrong. Like they must be skipping a step in the AI, or they must be not doing this or that. And so then
Yep.
I put together like a list of these are the things you're probably missing.
Okay.
And wouldn't you know it, every single one of them had something where it
Yeah.
was like,
Yeah.
oh, that would make it harder. Oh yeah. So
Yep.
that was the biggest doubt, was maybe I'm not good enough at games to make a game that will be challenging, because I'm almost legendary for being bad at tabletop games. Like I play in Infinity events, Infinity the game, Corvus Belli,
Yep.
solid game, beautiful miniatures. Anyway,
They
I've
are.
been playing
Yeah.
at events for years and years. I have won maybe 3 games out of the 100, and
Yeah.
it's fine. I love playing, and like so, I thought for a little bit I was like, I'm not good enough at gaming to do this. I better not. But I got over that.
Nice.
Mostly,
Yeah.
mostly because, like I said, I was laid off. I had some time. I thought, no, I'm gonna do this.
Yeah.
Gonna
Yeah.
finally do it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's sad to hear that you were laid off during the pandemic, but I'm glad something came from it.
Yeah. The good news is my wife has really good health insurance, so I didn't
Yep.
lose mine. That's a real American problem. When you lose your job, you lose your health insurance. But she
Yes.
kept hers, and we kept our health insurance. So so we
Brilliant.
we remained healthy if
Good.
unemployed.
Yes. Yeah. Well, that's yeah, yeah. No, I'm glad that this came from that. Um, have you got any things you can tell us about Kenny Red Z? Anything coming up in the future? Any little hints or?
Yeah, yeah. I'm actually in striking distance of my first. It was going to be my first free mini expansion, but
Yep.
now it's going to be my first pay what you want medium-sized expansion, because
Nice.
everything grows as you put more into it.
Yep.
And so, Road Trip, it's called. And what's funny is it takes away the thing that makes my game more unique, I guess. Like it's
Yep.
a replacement for the whole base building aspect,
Okay.
where you get a car
Yep.
and as many people as you can fit in the car, and you go town to town, and then the towns have different features. Instead of building up your base, you move to the next town and see if it has a workshop, or
Ah,
if it has
nice.
this or that, and then you have to move on as you exhaust resources.
Yep.
uh, and so in that, there's going to be some new rules for the way vehicles operate on the tabletop. Right now they're kind of just mobile deployment zones.
Yep.
Uh, but now I've built up some combat rules and some hit points so that you can, if you're hiding in a car, you can have that moment in every movie where the zombies are banging on the windows, and you've got a
Yeah.
certain
Yeah.
like, I better get out of here before they break through.
Yep.
Uh, but other than that, then honestly, I've got a big year planned. I
Yep.
Because of some of the good feedback I've gotten, guys like you reading it and going, "This is," you used the word brilliant, and I know that's kind of a Britishism, Australianism. Like we don't use the word brilliant, but it's like that is a superlative in America, and I'm just going to pretend like You meant it that way. And
Of course I did.
so I've got 3 big expansions planned for
Yep.
this year, and those will be medium thick books of storyline style expansions where it's a series of missions that lead to a storyline.
Ah, nice.
Uh, and so the first one is going to be what they are is their end of the apocalypse scenarios. Because like one thing war games never let you do is, or solo war games specifically, is win.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
win the game, finish the game. So because of the kind of uh, semi roguelike nature that my game turned out to be, because I played a lot of campaigns where everybody died, I
Yeah.
wanted to be able to win. So the first one is going to be Viral Apocalypse,
Yep.
and it's already fully outlined. And so that is, you go and you find the origins of the virus, and you find a cure, and you inoculate people, and then cure it. And then
Yep.
the second one is Cosmic Horror, where the virus comes from uh, outer space. And
Yeah.
then the last one is going to be the most out there one, and that is it's the full on necromancy style, where there's some kind of magic spell
Yep.
reanimating the dead. And that's
Nice.
like, so I figured, yeah, Virus is really grounded, the game is really grounded. And
Yep.
then as the expansions go, it'll get more and more weird.
Weirder and weirder.
Uh,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah. Um, and those are the big ones that are planned. And then eventually a second edition, because the more people play, the more you see,
Yep.
oh, I should have done that.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
yeah, so that's
I
the
suppose.
big plan for 2022 anyway.
Nice. Nice. I suppose you can. There's FAQs and stuff you can do for the meantime. Little erratas and stuff that you can put out there before. But yeah, I'm looking forward to all those expansions and more.
Yeah, no,
That's
I'm hoping to set them up. Right now the structure for the first one is really kind of, I don't want to say choose your own adventure, but it's really branching paths. So
yep,
that way you can play again maybe and take a different route.
yeah,
So it's
yeah,
not just one storyline. So
yep.
we'll see how well that comes together, but it's coming together pretty well so far. So
Awesome,
I'm positive on the idea. So
awesome. I can't wait, and we'll definitely keep my eyes out for that one. For those watching, if you haven't, check out Kenny Road Z Facebook group. You can see everyone's hobby in there. Jordan, you're very active in there. I see you posting a lot. I think I saw a concept art for Road Trip in there just the other day,
hmm
actually. So, yeah, little sneak peeks in there as well.
yeah, and that actually there's a living FAQ up there too. That's just a link to the Google Doc where I put stuff that people ask.
Nice.
So it just keeps growing, and then when it gets to be a decent size, I'll put the PDF up on Drive-Thru so everybody can have a look.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Yeah. And so everyone can get Canny Road Z on Drive Through RPG. And you've also got a print on demand available. Now, I'm in Australia. Is that available down here as well? Does it ship worldwide?
It will ship worldwide,
Yep.
but you're gonna pay through the nose for it.
Of course.
Like they print in the US, and so overseas it's
Yep.
just, yeah. I'm currently and this, I don't know how public this is, but I'm currently talking with a publisher in Europe for an EU version of the game where
Nice.
they can
Yep.
then ship it just over land.
Yeah.
But that's
Yeah.
as far as I've gotten, as far as trying to cut down that ridiculous shipping price. So if you got a bunch
Yeah.
of buddies and you want to split the shipping price, you buy a big stack of books and get them over the
Yeah.
ocean. But it's just funny
Yeah.
because a lot of my playtesters are from, well, a lot. Some of my playtesters are from Australia and New Zealand,
Oh, nice.
England, like, because
Yeah.
I went online to find them.
Yep.
They're from all over the place, and
Yeah.
huge wargaming communities in Australia and England. And I was like,
Yeah.
well, England I knew about, obviously,
The
but
home of
Australia, I didn't know
wargaming,
you
I
guys had
imagine.
so many. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah, yeah, we
Yeah.
love it down here. Like obviously Warhammer carries the title. Almost everyone you speak to has heard of it, and then everyone you speak to knows someone that paints the little guys. Like so.
Oh yeah. No, I was
Yeah,
surprised. It's cool. Very
yeah,
cool.
yeah. We've got a pretty big community down here. Quite vast as well in as far as systems go. That it's not like everyone's just pigeonholed into one. Um, So that's always good to see, and people are very open to new games and new systems and stuff like that. So yeah, but no, we're used to the exorbitant shipping costs from anywhere else in the world.
I believe that. I believe that.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, thank you, Jordan, for sitting with me here and chatting. Now it's early for you, but it's getting later and later for me down here.
Yeah, I believe that. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think we'll leave it there. But yeah, thanks again. Thank you so much. And guys, if you haven't, check out County Road Z. I've done a little playthrough, a little read through of the book. Hoping to have a battle report mission up soon. So keep an eye out for that. And yeah, thank you so much, Jordan.
Thank you. I appreciate the good words. Everybody loves to hear that they did something that people like.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Right. Thanks much.
Cool. No worries. All right, and we're back. Jordan, thank you so much for taking the time to talk to me tonight. If you guys haven't checked it out yet, I strongly recommend that you do. It's a solo/cooperative war game fighting against the zombie horde. I love it. I can't wait. It's going to be so much fun. Everything about it. But you guys heard enough about that. Thank you guys so much for watching. Check out hobbyhomies.com for the links to all our stuff. And we'll see you on the next one. Hooroo.
Big up to the boys, Fox and Shane. Set your minds free, no locks and chains. Do what you love, roll the dice. 50-50, we cold as ice. One thing